Weren't you in Hawaii or something? Yeah. That's so. Not that I've been to Hawaii in a while. Oh, man. There's a vision for you. So I wanted to, before I start the talk, wanted to welcome our new members. And so I'm going to invite Peggy up because this is a special time. And we have two people in particular. I'm not sure if Mark is here. I'm looking out there, but I'm not recognizing Mark. So Mark is not here. But Julie is, Julie Bailey. She's going to come forward now. She's been to the Essence class and the informational meeting about becoming a member, and she immersed herself right away in SEVA opportunities in the office, and she's just been a delight. She just, whatever she can do, she wants to be a part of. So this contains your welcoming letter and some other information to you. But I also, Patty Stevens, are you here? You are a member already, but come on forward and receive a flower as well. Renewing her membership, she was gone for a while, and we just said, well, of course, without much to do, she stepped right in, and she too is working in the office and helping with the prosperity team. So these two lovely ladies just knew exactly where they wanted to put their heart and their talent. So do you all welcome them as members to our fold? Thank you. So Peggy has created a special table for you in the social hall. So you are the guest today. So anybody sits in your place, kick them out. Slap them with your flower and say, I'm here now. Okay. Yes, and everybody come introduce yourself so we all get to know each other better. So thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Peggy. Mark Gardner was the other friend that we're welcoming, so we'll catch him at another time. So thank you for that. I'm here to share some stories about truth, from deception to truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. And I thought about, wouldn't that be cool if I could go round up a whole bunch of Science of Mind texts and have you all swear on them? That before you leave here today, that from now on, from this day forward, you're going to companion with truth in such a way that it never leaves you. And so we're going to share some thoughts from Wayne Dyer on this. His chapter on this particular idea is transcending. So moving in deeper into truth, the big truth, capital T truth. Interesting, recently I had a conversation with another practitioner who was saying, well, people say my truth, and it's really the truth. And I'm thinking, true and true, but we all have our own personal truths, but there is the big truth that we speak of. So kind of see where you are with this, and I'm going to give you a test later. Oh, do say, I felt the range of tension go up in the room. But listen to this clever little story from Hugh Prather. He talks, because there's this level of truth, okay? Gail is a far better cook than I am, but we each have dishes that we think we do well. Been married 17 years before we realized that time and again we'd made each other unhappy by thinking we had to respond honestly when asked, how do you like it? Too dull. It needs some green chilies and a little cumin. Yes, but I don't like to overseason everything the way you do. And besides, the children have to eat it. So why did you ask me if you didn't want my opinion? I just wanted to know if you thought it had finished baking. It depends on how you define finished, he said. I mean, he would just keep... So he said, one night after another, one of these pointless exchanges, we sat down and decided we were going to eliminate this 17-year-old bone of contention once and for all. We came up with a new rule. Unless it was impossible to keep down, we would always say that the dish was just wonderful. It's funny though, but you can take that with this idea of, I had to tell the truth. But I speak today, and Wayne Dyer points to this as well. This is a truth that you sort of have manufactured a part of who you are, a personality that's beautiful, but also like here's the shame finger coming to me and to you and to all of us who have told little white lies at one time or another to try to get ourselves out of trouble. Not that we do that anymore, but before we came to the center, we had a few moments of that. That's way behind us now, and I appreciate the readings that Damien spoke so beautifully, because we are reminded in this fellowship that there is one heart, one love, one mind, one consciousness. And when we really allow our heart to settle into that absolute knowing, that is the truth, the one mind, the one truth. So that we're never alone. We never have to seek or look for an answer. The answer lies within. And too many times we keep going to the self-help sections, which have wonderful wisdom to help support you, but listen to the still small voice inside of you, because you already know. If it's kind and it's loving and it does no harm, you're in truth. And so these are the qualities of the divine. So we operate from that in our own individualized expression of that truth. The truth shall set you free. Keep reminding yourself of that, because oftentimes we have set up small traps for ourselves by not exactly telling the truth. I love the one where we exaggerate just a little bit more because we think it makes us more interesting. And sometimes it's just by 1 or 2 numbers. Like I could tell somebody, oh, we welcomed 5 new members at church today. Really? I was there. And you kind of go, oh, yeah, well, I meant 2. 1 didn't show up, so I meant 1. So I called somebody else up to make it 2. That's how how it happens, boom, that quickly. But so we're looking at this today from Wayne Dyer's wisdom on your sacred self. And I'm inviting you, as I speak this word, to ask yourself honestly if there's been a behavior that you yourself have engaged in that has kept you from the divine truth, from the capital T truth. A behavior, a rationale, any kind of story that you've told for a really long time, and sometimes now you're so trapped in it you can't quite get out. So here's the day we're just going to do just this big forgiveness, and we lost an hour last night, so pretend whatever was happened then and it's gone forever. And so Wayne Dyer, he said, how do we avoid truth? By consulting the false idea of these learned ways. So these are some of the ways, and see if you have done one of these perhaps at one time or another. Boasting and bragging. Oh, no, not here. And this boasting and bragging comes from, we want people to know we've done something good and they're not paying attention to us. And so it could come off like, oh yeah, I got straight A's. Nobody cares? Well, I care. I worked really hard, and you get this sense of nobody really cares. But you care. That's fine. Fill the self with that self-love and acknowledge yourself. Boasting and bragging is a way we allow ourselves to build up a sense of falseness about ourselves, like that's really more important. We do the factual distortions is another way we consult the false self, that we have learned this way. A deception to save face or embarrassment. We want to look innocent. It's really challenging, and I have such admiration for people that when they know they're the ones that did something that was a little off color or wrong, they stand up and say, that was me. That was me. And knowing that there's some blame coming your way, but the power of that was me. You can stand up and have such a sense of authenticity with yourself because you were willing to not shy away from, that was me, I did that. And when we acknowledge that level of speaking truth, we set others free, because oftentimes we can, even in those situations, feel the blame being pointed somewhere else. Now, it's real innocent when you're a kid at the table at dinner with 4 other sisters or 3 sisters. You know, who did that? Who said that? And all of our sisters would point to the youngest one. And so she'd get the flick on the head, and we'd go, and then the dad would walk out, and we'd feel bad because she always got her ear flicked, but for some reason, we did it every time. We never felt bad enough not to do it. And so until years later of therapy for that poor daughter and sister, you know, it's like she always probably felt like I was doing everything wrong. I didn't even know I did it. You know, she was like 2. How could she even figure it out? But those are the things, they seem so innocent then because we don't want to get in trouble. But the person, you know, the George Washington thing, I did it, you know, that kind of a feeling of really owning. So no factual distortion and no deception just to save face or embarrassment. Speak up. Speak up in the room, not to deface yourself, not to make yourself feel small, but to clear the room so that the assumption doesn't fall on another innocent person. There's where the real healing lies. Let go of having somebody falsely accuse another when you know the truth. And exaggerating facts to get attention or changing facts to impress others and feel more important. Another way we avoid truth is by overlooking something because you kind of can take an advantage of it. And he has a great story in The Sacred Self on this one. So here's a man who was given his paycheck, and he noticed that he was overpaid $25. Didn't say a word to the paymaster. But the paymaster realized his mistake. The following payday, he deducted the $25 from the man's paycheck. The man immediately went to the paymaster, told him that his paycheck was short. The paymaster replied, "Well, you didn't say a word last week when you received too much money." The man replied, "I don't mind overlooking one mistake, but when it happens twice, it's time to say something." That quick. That's a pretty smart man. But that quick. You know, can we speak our truth when we realize somebody has given us too much change back, or all those little ways that we're trying to skirt around the system. So the other ways is deliberately cheating for your own gain. Taxes. Oh, she mentioned taxes. Now I heard it. Now I have to pay attention. I cannot cheat. I cannot lie. So this idea of trying to be also better than someone else by bullying, by bragging, by strutting, cajoling, or convincing others that you're pretty special. These are all deceptive ways from the truth. Or staying scared because of the inner dialogue that's going on inside of you, the many voices inside of each and every one of us. We think that we're the only ones that have those voices sometimes. But I think sometimes when that radio station comes through, I think our frequencies are all turned up so much that we're starting to hear each other's voices in our heads. And so we've got to realize I've got to pay attention to what I'm saying to myself and to love this deep self. I don't want to stay scared any longer by listening to a false idea. This self-deception that you are weak and unimportant, so you continue to keep yourself small. These are ways the false self develops all around you, because the true sacred inner self is strong and powerful, vibrant and true. And you can lean into it and trust it every time. The ego likes to feel special, and it gets attached to this false persona. And finally, he says, ego survives through the deception that we speak. To the sacred self is always there, longing to be revealed in a spiritual life. So today's the day. What has your mask been? What risk has you been taking, and now are you willing to take that risk to be set free? Wayne Dyer said, what you think of me is more important than what I think of myself. Is that a true statement? What you think of me, is that more important than what I think of myself? It can't be. If we allow that to try to continually please every single human being on this planet that's living and being in their own perceptual field, we'll be exhausted. And we'll be frightened, and we'll be closed down because we'll be so afraid to speak a truth. Simply love yourself as your neighbor. Love yourself first as your neighbor. And all things begin to fall into an alignment with the big capital T of truth. So what do? We're going to create a new relationship with truth. We're going to catch our exaggerations and correct them immediately. These are opportunities for us. We're going to relate exactly what happened. Even it's the most boring story in the world. Tell it exactly like it is. Get in the practice of that truth. Trying truth versus the phony stories. Be aware of the inner dialogue, the chatter of the fearful, insecure parts of who you've become. You're always afraid, what if they find out? We've created a safety persona around ourselves. Well, you know, if you have established that and you're frightened, come see a practitioner who will hold you in the highest, knowing they already see you that way. And we pray ourselves back into the light, into the truth of who we are. God already is with you, and God already knows the powerful being that you are. And you are being cultivated by knowing the sacred self, that you are the divine, and you're dancing in this divine universe. And you might not know, but the most healing, comforting thought, God knows. I've done that on every exam I've taken. And when I doubted it, when I questioned it, I missed it. But if I stayed with the truth, I don't know that answer. Take a breath, God knows. And then you allow yourself to carry on into truth. Choose to be silent in the moments where you realize that it's calling for that, because you cannot be kind. But still promise to know the truth and the whole truth. You want to live that personal truth that is independent of an opinion of others. And that's a big request. Can I live independent of the opinion of others? What will my family think? Well, you'll find out. But you'll walk away holding your heart up high, because you know your truth, and the truth gives you strength and confidence. You can let go of bragging and listen and stop exaggerating. You can burst these bubbles of resistance as we walk in this idea. We had a visioning the other evening at my home, and one of the visions was bubbles. And we all went, oh, bubbles, and we all got happy with bubbles. What does bubbles mean in the vision? Well, I'm thinking today, as I was looking at this talk, the bubbles. We walk in these bubbles of this persona. Let us pop these bubbles and allow the true self to just walk in to every room, to the social hall, to the sanctuary, to your interaction with each other. Now, times in the past, we know that we have done some unskillful things, and I'm not going to go into the details, but I share openly with you that I recently had a ministerial review, and it was like, ow. Some of it was like, but I thought, why is this such an ow when I already say this to myself? It's because somebody else noticed it, and they put it down on paper, and they discussed it. And I thought, oh my God. Oh my God. Now I can let it go. Now I can be free. Now I can digest this information and rise up higher and do greater work and be honest. Be honest with you as you have been honest with me. And then there we rise. We rise together. You see how it operates? And we walk in confidence then. We walk in truth. And we share that kindly with one another. Rumi says, when you eventually see through the veils of how things really are, you keep saying again and again, this is certainly not like we thought it was. This is certainly not like we thought it was. But it is what it is. And when we start looking at our life with the lenses taken off that have painted it another way, and we start seeing truth as truth is, I am who I am here. I am that I am. And you see me clearly. You see me here, and you see me here. You see all sides of who I am. And then we can walk our talk, and we can listen to each other, and we can drop our perceptions and our resistances, and we can just say, I hear you. I hear you, and I see you, and I thank you for sharing truth. So here's your test. I'm going to read something, and you're going to tell me, what life principle, what universal truth is she talking about? And if you know it, you just shout out the word. Being this is not a concept. It's a universal law, so as soon as you know it, be the winner. Unfortunately, our world has swayed too far from it that we no longer know what it is. Emotionally speaking, there are many of these because they're based on our perceptions. Oh, there you go. Spoken from the outsider. Score. Universal speaking, there is only one truth because it's based on an infinite intelligence. Truth is the tongue of the divine realm, birthed from a cosmic concept and consciousness. Our wounds create illusions which are fed from low self-esteem. Our wellness creates truth, which are fed from a higher vibration. It connects us to a straightforwardness that is rarely experienced in this world. Truth is the source. Truth is enlightenment. Truth is the testimony. Truth is timeless. Truth is mastery. Truth is all there should be. Okay, -2 for you. Okay, you ready for another? Let me find a not so hard one. Okay, this is a gut feeling that teaches discernment. Oh, wait, score back there. Just be on it. Who was it? Damien, you got it, buddy. Our intuitive feelings show us that who we can help and who we cannot. This assists us in being able to differentiate between what is important and what is trivial. We then wisely know when to be passive, when to be assertive. Ancient tribes used their intuition as a means of survival. Their intuition was a link to their unseen guides. It's a spiritual faculty guided by connection that links us to all the universal mysteries. Never argue with intuition, because angelic, invisible protectors are constantly in our energy field trying to get our attention. I like that one. Okay, here's one that is the authentic yearning of your soul. This is a big word. There's like more than 10 letters. No matter how many people react to our actions, what was it? Close. That's a big word for you. Very good. Yes. I saw you counting on your fingers. Our intentions become irreproachable and beyond criticism. Live life motivated by flawless integrity. Look a person in the eye and own the truth and then be clear. This is communicating through us, which manifests the master within us. When we marry our purity and our purpose to become the vehicle for an enlightened force field, this potent power of heart intelligence over mind thought forms creates a tidal wave of positivity. Struggling. Think of one of the things that's good. Close, that's an I word. And think of Don Miguel Ruiz. Impeccability. Yes, impeccability is our strongest protection because our character then cannot be threatened. Impeccability, truth. Now here's another one, another big word. What is it? More than, we speak of it as the mind. Human this, there you go. Who's taking science of mind classes right now? Oh, Damien, he is scoring. You can still speak up. I know you know these. This is the unseen communication, human consciousness from the higher force fields. To be conscious is to draw from our intelligence, integrity, and mindfulness. We thereby become a forceful energy that can remedy any situation. Think about yourself being a forceful energy field that can remedy any situation when you stand in your truth and you're impeccable with your word. Therefore, by being conscious, we bring order to chaos and wrongs become righted. We welcome accountability for the wellness of this wounded world. Our tears come forth as a display of our conscience. Because to cry means consciousness reaching you. To quote Einstein, no problem can be solved from the level of consciousness that created it. This is an awareness that if we are not even a small part of the solution, we are indeed a large part of the problem. Oh, that one is one to take home and put in a cookie. Pass it to someone that you want to have them. So these ideas, accountability, love, leadership, divinity, awareness, awakening, harmony, vulnerability. You see, when you look at universal truths, they quicken your heart. They take an idea, a greater idea, and you embody it. You drink the essence of that truth, and it becomes you. And you allow yourself to be led by a truth that is inspiring yourself and changing the world. So how does God work through you? You are all here to be an instrument of this divine grace. How is God working through you? And so you clear the channel. You clear the channel. I visioned like putting myself up here and having a confessional booth, and one by one people just poured out all that they didn't want anymore in a mic. No, just totally letting go and just saying, here is a false self that I have created and I no longer feel it as a part of my being. Will you accept my true self? And we just welcome each other. There'd be a rose to hand each and every one of you as you walk the talk and you become a member of this teaching that allows your heart to continue to grow and to stir and to be the one that is helping others awaken to their greater magnificence. Our new vision statement is right up here. We do inspire and empower people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. There's nothing else that motivates us more. Every class, every prayer, every bit of seva that is gifted through the hands of each and every one of you is offering this idea of a greater way of being. So in closing, I'll have Judy come forward. I want to share a beautiful story relating to truth from these noble truths of the universal way, the golden doves. So close your eyes and feel the vision of the plan to move from this day to an elevated life. As you inquire within your own heart space, what is God asking of me? What persona of self is time to lay down and be no more? What part of me is calling for the truth to set me free? Value truth above all other things. Relinquish the ego-driven desires. Quiet your mind chatter. Only speak of another's problem if you're seeking the solution. View money as a vehicle for good, not greed. Do good deeds anonymously. Remain intelligent when difficulties arise. Give the unseen the importance it merits. Rebuke all evil. End the relationships in understanding, not judgment. Keep a certainty when something is right, but be mindful of energies and their source, and maintain always that sense of humor. Protect the innocent. Be kind when using words. Infuse your goals with virtue. Seek the higher compliment within the lower criticism. Be unyielding when integrity is challenged. Keep intentions pure. Sustain consciousness when taking action. Cultivate relationships that are respectful. Meet a challenge with the force it deserves. Be impeccable when making decisions. Honor all living things. Vision peace as inevitable. Hold the knowledge that in the end, love is all that matters. As we awaken to this truth, as we allow the stirring of our heart to awaken and to let go of that which has caused us personal suffering, personal diminishment of our true self, we let that go. Today is the day we feel born again, renewed into the sense of the sacred self. I am that, and I choose on this day to walk with impeccability in my word, with authenticity in my way, with forgiveness in my heart, and know that it's all for God. It's all for love. It's all to restore humanity into sanity. And so I release this word with such gratitude for the fellowship, for the people who I surround myself with. My core, my heart walks with all of you. You walk with me, I walk with you. We walk together as a community, embracing a greater idea. Can you feel it? Deep in your soul, letting go of what has been and moving to what is, I give thanks. I give thanks for the glory and the peace and the love in this room. So be it, and so it is. Thank you. You passed.